Welcome into Sports Extra, everybody. I'm Reggie Chatman alongside John Michaels, Grant McAuley on a sports weekend that was a little bit up and down, all things considered. But if you think about it, though, all the teams that are based here in Atlanta all did win, John.
Yeah, they did. Who would have thought that the Falcons would maybe have everybody in a good mood this week? It's good to see.
Braves, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's what we had this year, right? But at least there was a little bit of a high note here with the way that they played in September, and I thought it was a great and emotional send-off for Charlie Morton after just a wonderful career.
All of which we're going to be talking about today on Sports Extra, but we have to talk about the Falcons first. A bounce-back win for them, 34-27 against the Commanders. It looked night and day from an offensive perspective. 332 yards and 0 points last week to 34 points, 435 yards of offense. John, what was maybe the biggest difference, and is it just the fact that Zach Robinson came from upstairs and came back down to the field?
I don't know that was the case, but it was crisp. You know, we talked a lot about everything that was going on with the last couple of weeks of all of a sudden the play clock's down to 3 and you're clapping and you're really rushing and you never seem to be cohesive. I watched them get to the line of scrimmage today and there was 15 seconds on the play clock. Michael Penix has time to get up there, facilitate, take a look at the defense. And then Michael Penix was throwing the ball crisp and effective. He was getting back to the edge of his drop. He was throwing the football and it was getting where it needed to get to. If Zach Robinson being on the field changed all this, plant his butt down there. Tie him up. Don't let him leave the field. He needs to stay there forever.
Michael Penix was efficient in this one, two touchdowns, had an interception. He looked very different from last week. What do you think maybe the biggest change was for him in today's game?
I think the biggest thing is with Michael Penix, he just needs experience, and you have to keep in mind kind of where he is in his progression as a professional. And I thought that, the biggest thing is you're going to have some bad days. How are you going to respond to those? And he was able to put in a good week in practice. The accountability was there, and the changes that needed to be made were there as well. And you saw playmaking ability from the receiving core. You saw a great ground game and just a very well-balanced offense. So when those things are working, it's just going to allow Michael Penix to get comfortable and do the things he's capable of doing. I think that was what we saw. I don't know that it was altogether much more different, but you could tell how much more comfortable he was and how much other guys stepped up as well.
You could tell it was different based on how the conversation was, because you had people on social media last week saying, yo, we got to start Kirk Cousins. He's the guy going forward, which I think is absolutely insane. Thankfully, especially because he was able to really deliver the ball to all the targets he needed to get it to today. Drake London as well as Kyle Pitts, who we're going to talk about. Both these guys really effective. And, John, to see Drake play that way in this moment, what was that like?
Yeah, he's the number one. You're talking about a guy a year ago that had 100 catches and 1,200 yards. We were waiting for that all year. And I think part of that had to do with, again, the offense just wasn't cohesive. You found yourself a lot of times behind the 8 ball. You're on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. You weren't getting ahead of the chains. Today, you were ahead of him, and you could tell Drake London had something to prove. Yep. When he catches that deep ball down the sideline, he stands up, kind of gives a double fist pump, and it's like, all right, I'm here. I'm that guy. And if he can be that guy, he's a true number one in this league. I'd argue he's a top 10 receiver in the league. Let's start using him like a top 10 receiver.
Both him and Kyle Pitts scored touchdowns today. Bijan Robinson continues to be a superstar. 181 all-purpose yards. He's number 2 in all the NFL in all-purpose yards. Can you say he's the best player in the NFL yet?
I think you can start making that argument, but you want to see him stack up more and more weeks like this. We joked on the postgame show that we got to pick a fantasy player of the game. Is it a Bijan Robinson category and then an at-large category because of how much of a difference maker he can be? But in terms of the non-fantasy variety, we know the impact he's going to make for the Atlanta Falcons on a week-in, week-out basis when he is in that receiving game, that catching game, doing stuff he did today, 100 yards to the air, and able to impact the game running as well. This is the, I think, most well-rounded player in the NFL. Let's call him that, the all-purpose weapon.
He is certainly fun to watch, if nothing else. All right, we got to go to the field. Maria Martin was in the building for this game and has more from the Benz.
Thanks, Reggie. Here now with ESPN's Mark Raimondi after a big win for the Falcons over the Commanders, which the Falcons needed this win, especially after what happened in Carolina. Thank goodness they got the win, Mark. And thank goodness the offense looks better.
It did. Raheem Morris referred to that loss last week as, quote, nasty and disgusting.
Yeah.
And this was neither nasty nor disgusting. 34-27. The offense looked the best it has all season, kind of to the level that we were expecting going into this season. The defense did enough to win. Good performances by Penix, Robinson, Drake London, Tyler Algier, even Kyle Pitts caught a touchdown. A good day overall.
It's so important for a quarterback who's just starting out in the NFL to have bounce-back wins like this. He's going to have more bad games, but to have a bounce-back win, the way he responded to what happened against the Panthers was really important. And it looked like the offense, as you mentioned, looked closer to what we thought they could be at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, last week, even the body language from Michael Penix was off. which is not what we've experienced in the short time that he's been here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
All we've seen, prior to last week was the cool, calm, collected, nothing bothers Michael Penix. And then last week in Carolina, it was the opposite. He was, throwing the ball into the dirt. I mean, he was frustrated visibly. And this week he came out as if none of that mattered. 20 for 26, career high 313 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. His first 2 touchdowns not to Bijan Robinson of this season, which, by the way, that came on the first series of this season.
Yeah.
And 1 interception, of course, but a great bounce-back performance for Penix.
And now we can all stop talking about the fact that wide receivers and tight ends have not been in the end zone, because they have.
Yes, both of them. Yes, Drake London and Kyle Pitts gone in.
That is very impressive. Another impressive thing is Bijan Robinson, just by himself. We don't even have to explain that.
Yes.
But he finds the end zone today. He almost found it twice. I know he's pretty upset about getting caught there on that 69-yard run. But this guy really just makes this offense go.
Yeah, I mean, he probably should have broken it. Apparently he's going to get fined by Tyler Allgeier for allowing someone to catch him from behind. But there was one play, Maria, that was actually not far from where we are right now, where Bijan Robinson was running toward the marker, and he got turned around, and he continued running backward to get the first down.
Insane.
And I know that's maybe not a Saquon Barkley reverse, leapfrog over the defender, but I thought that was pretty incredible, just like the creativity, the ingenuity during that run, and just the ability to stay moving while people were around him and he was going back.
The way he sheds blocks, his cuts, it's mind-blowing every single time. Hopefully this offense can continue to build upon a little bit of what we saw here inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They get a break. Next up, Monday Night Football, the Bills on October 13th.